Hey Wildcats, welcome back to Wildcat World. Today we have an exclusive episode talking only about video games with our guest here, Kendall. So let's just get right into it. First, I have to say I'm very excited for the new Minecraft update, Caves and Cliffs Part 2. We've been waiting a long time for this, almost like 2 years, I think. They originally scheduled it for the whole update, but they ended up not being able to work on it in the amount of time that they had, so they had to break it up into two parts. But this part is what everyone was waiting for. They finally revamped the world generation. Usually it's like, we've been playing with the normal Minecraft world generation for I don't know how long, but they finally changed it, made it so much more interesting, so much better, and yeah, I'm just very excited to play that. It came out Tuesday. I'm not sure exactly what day it is, but it should be the week that this comes out. So yeah, I'm really excited to play about that. How about you?
There is a game called Days Gone that I'm playing right now. And I'm just going to have to get a trigger warning because it is intended for mature audiences. But initially, there's a zombie apocalypse, the outbreak happens, and the game starts you off 2 years later after the initial outbreak. And you have a motorcycle that gets stolen, and it introduces you to the character called Deacon St. John, who was originally a military vet who soon joined the MC, a biker gang. And from then on, he met this girl, Sarah, which soon became his wife. And it's kind of like you are on a journey interacting with these different people because there are different camps, like in the story, that you go to for like bounties,
Yeah.
guns, weapons, upgrading your bike because the initial bike you have to begin the story gets stolen and dismantled.
Yeah, I saw that, like, from little bits of the game that I've seen. It's very bike-oriented.
Yeah.
Like, the bike's a big part of it.
Yeah. You also have to worry about how much gas or how much scrap you have because you either have to fix your weapon that you have on hand or your motorcycle. Sometimes you'll get ambushed or wolves will come up and chase you and knock you off your bike, and that will end up damaging your bike. But as the game further progresses, you have less of a chance at happening since your arsenal becomes so big and your bike becomes so upgraded that
I saw that ambushes were a big part, like a big scary thing. You're just driving along, and then all of a sudden you see a red dot on your back, and they start shooting at you.
when I normally see that in game, my first instinct is to start just pressing R2 real hard at the gas because normally they're so fast when they see you, they'll just shoot. And then now you have to fight the enemies off that are charging you. You have to check all your things, refill your gear, and pick up your bike and fix it. And that leaves you open to getting attacked again. Or if like a horde shows up, because hordes are a big part of the game.
Yeah, they get pretty big in that game too.
And I think at the beginning of the game, I initially tried to get the best gun that I had from a certain enemy. So they had like an RPD, and that's good for taking down hordes. But when you approach hordes, you have to like sort of plan it out, like what your path is gonna be. It's kind of like trial and error. So you have to redo it and redo it until you finally get it. Or if you're just that good at the game already, you just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
There are also a big part. It's called this organization's kind of like the CI top secret thing called Nero. And throughout the story, Deacon will meet up with this guy called O'Brien. And his connection to him is when the apocalypse like broke out, he put his wife on a chopper that man was on. So he knows what had happened to her.
The chopper?
Yeah, there was like a
the
chopper on top
helicopter.
of the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like some sacrificial machine or
Oh
something.
no. Yeah, but he wants to know what happened to his wife. Eventually, from me playing through the story, I have found her, and she was like in another part of the map that was locked.
Yeah.
Because there was snow and it was on a ridge and it was a completely different area to what I was doing. So I had to progress enough in the game for me to get to that point after gathering information from O'Brien. That initial meeting between Deacon and Sarah, it's kind of bittersweet in a way because throughout the game, you have these flashbacks. You actually talk to a stone because you thought she died initially after she went on the chopper. She went to like the northwest side of the map, and that part was overrun by zombies. So you go there throughout the game, and it's optional, but you can talk to the stone as if she was there, she was died.
Dang.
And that's what Deacon thinks at the time until he goes to the other side of the map and meets her. And back to the bittersweet part, they meet each other, but they're like in this military camp. And since Deacon already has experience from his 2 tours in Afghanistan, he just fits right in, right off the bat, becomes a corporal, and he meets up with Sarah, finally finds her, and in a way, it's kind of like, because the mentality of the military is that they're fighting a war, but what Deacons want is just to run off with his wife, because he's been looking for her at this point, for how long I've been playing the game, like 2.5 years. And funny thing is, like, it actually counts how many days that you've played the game. So it'll initially start
in real life days or
not
in-game
real life
days?
in-game days.
Okay.
So it'll start off at like 735, which is exactly 2 years, and then from then on, it'll just keep going. Right now, I'm at
And
like
time will like actually progress.
820 days, around that area. So I've been playing the game for a while, and it's a lot of scavenging and exploring and finding all this stuff. And they have nests where zombie basically sleep in. You get to learn about how the zombies operate and how progressively they transform into this being that you don't even recognize.
So like as time goes on, the zombies start to evolve.
Yeah, you
Dang.
get to learn that. Like, there were certain missions, the Nero missions that I was doing. Some zombies still had jewelry in good condition on them, not as ragged clothes, and still looked pretty human, no decayed flesh. And it's surprising that they put that much effort into that game, learning about zombies. Zombie games normally don't do that. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
you got
Usually
the
they have
brutes.
like 10 models for the zombies, and that's
Yeah.
it. And then that's all you see for the rest of the game.
So you have like all these different objectives, and certain missions fill certain objectives, well, or storylines that I would call them storylines, because the more you do that, it completes the story. So they have a lot of different stuff that you can do. Like for bounty hunting, there's a storyline for bounty hunting, getting over your wife, helping your friend, because at the beginning of the game he gets injured, so he can't ride with you anymore. So you have to give him a reason to live since he's so depressed. And protecting camps, like there are 3 to 4 camps out of the game, 4 now because of the military camp.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so much. I really would call it a hidden gem, because a lot of people didn't play it when it first came out, and I think it came during a time where like 2 big games came out, like God of War, and
I think it's definitely flown under the radar a little bit because, I mean, I've heard of it, but I haven't really seen that many people play it or anything like that. Nobody really talks about it. But it seems like a really fun, good survival game.
yeah, it is. Really threw me for a loop. I'm just pumped to get the story done.
All right, Wildcats, I think that'll be it for this episode of Wildcat World. A bit late here, but spoiler warning for the game that Kendall was talking about. He really seemed to get into it. And I think that'll be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next